good people. It is so good to see you again. Thank you for joining, taking time out of your busy schedule to join the Brownsville Minute. Welcome. Hope you had a wonderful day. Hope your day is going, or your evening is going really well. And I want to thank you all for tuning in. My name is Anita Pierce, and will be your host, your moderator, maybe the backstage person too. And we'll be joined together in a wonderful conversation about how we can help our communities become better. The Brownsville Minute is about a conversation that our community can have together. We are honored to bring on individuals that will be able to share information that we can help to impact and grow within our community. It is specifically designed for residents, those who want to claim they're from Brownsville, Ocean Hill, Brownsville, and those who just love us to the core. I want to actually take a moment because given that we have seen the numbers of COVID-19 spike and that we have been hearing the number of deaths that have been specifically related to COVID-19, I just want to take a moment of silence for all the people, particularly within these past couple of months, that have lost individuals that are directly connected to COVID-19. So just a few moments of silence for those who have transitioned over as a result of this global pandemic. Thank you for, honoring the space. We are in very strange times. And one of the things that I can definitely say is that the more we are providing information to in a variety of different ways. We chose to do this live broadcast because we have recognized that this is one of the ways to get out information to our community residents, those who support us, and those who want to see our community grow. But tonight, I have the good pleasure of, really speaking with and unpacking a conversation about crowdfunding and how we within our community can take advantage of the crowdfunding resources that have directly come into Ocean Hill, Brownsville, and how we can utilize those resources to help to fund an idea and a vision that we are thinking about. So at this time, I have the good pleasure of bringing on my first guest for the evening, Miss Jennifer Allen. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
You know what? Today is a good day. Today is a good day. And so I want to just start, by having just introduce yourself to the group. Just tell us a little bit about what you do at IOBY, and then we can jump right into the other dialogue.
Great. My name is Jennifer Allen. My background is in urban planning and community engagement, and that's what brought me to IOBY. IOBY is a nonprofit. It stands for In Our Backyards. And so we're a crowdfunding platform, both online and offline, to help people raise the money and resources they need to make their community projects come to life. And so that mission is what really drew me to the organization. And so at the organization, I work with the people on our team that work one-on-one with residents such as yourselves that say, hey, I want to raise money to do X. And we come up with the strategies and tips for people to be successful.
And so what is crowdfunding? Like, what does that really mean?
Right. So the crowdfunding we're familiar with today is probably about like 15 years old, but honestly, it's an online manifestation of what all of us are really familiar with, like passing the plate at church, passing the hat around the community to collect funds. So crowdfunding is really who's your crowd of people and how can everybody chip in to make whatever work that's important to you possible. And so crowdfunding with IOBY is an online website where you can create a page that describes what you're raising money for, and you can collect online donations. And what makes us different is that we really have formed our platform around being highly engaged with the people crowdfunding with us. So since we're mission driven, we are very, very motivated by making sure community change happens. So we have a ton of resources. For example, we provide one-on-one coaching, and a whole host of other things to make sure people are successful. So I think I'm going to start sharing my screen so I can jump into my presentation and tell you guys a little bit more. Give me just a second. Okay, so I called this presentation DIY Brownsville because we've had several residents use our platform, and all of them have this energy of like, we'll just do it ourselves. We know what we need, and how we need it. And so I really just celebrate that energy. So I'm going to keep going here so I don't lose track of time. Just to be clear, anybody around the country can use our platform. We started in New York City. We now have staff in Detroit, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Memphis, and Cincinnati as well. I need to update that slide. But anybody across the country can use our platform. We already kind of talked about this, but it's really about how you can have small donations make a really big impact for your work. This is the question we get a lot: who can work with IOBY? And the answer is anyone. We are a nonprofit, but you don't have to be. You can be just an individual doing something that you're really passionate about. I won't get too far into the details of this, but if you're not a nonprofit, we can be your fiscal sponsor, or you can find one in your community so that when we disperse the funds to you, they go through a nonprofit organization. That part is required, but again, we can be that fiscal sponsor for you if you're eligible to crowdfund with us. And the major thing to keep in mind about what kind of projects can be on our platform, they're really projects that have a public benefit. So as long as it is open to the community, it's probably eligible for our platform. One thing you can keep in mind, for example, if you were going to try to raise money to fix something having to do with your personal property, that would be something that we would probably say, okay, you should maybe check out a different platform. But as long as it has a public benefit, it can be on our platform. Another question we get is, why should I do crowdfunding? We come across a lot of people that are trying to raise money and resources for their work through grants, for example. And there's grant reports. There's sometimes a lot of hoops that you have to jump through to get access to that money. And the thing about crowdfunding is that it's your money, it's flexible, it's unrestricted to how you spend it. It's also community engagement. So as you ask for donations, you're getting to tell the story of your work, and you're really engaging the community. It helps you get really specific and show public support and actually test out ideas as well. Some of these things that I've already gone through, that in terms of what sets us apart from other platforms. So I think one thing I will highlight, because we get questions about this, are our fees. And so our fees actually are pretty low compared to everyone else's, or the same. So if you are raising more than $1,000, we currently have a platform fee of $35, and that's actually going to go away soon. Other than that, we have a donation processing fee of 3%, and that's comparable to other platforms. And then if we're going to be your fiscal sponsor, it's a 5% fee, which is basically below market rate for typical fiscal sponsors you might find in your community. All of this information is at ioby.org if you have specific questions about that. The other thing about our platform is that there's an opportunity to use match dollars to see donations doubled. And I'll talk a little bit about that at the end. So I also want to just highlight some of the Brownsville residents that have used IOBY. I have to start with Rerun Brownsville. I hope you guys are familiar with this longstanding organization. They've done 5 successful campaigns with us since 2016. We love them. We love their work. And it's been a pleasure to work with them as they strengthen their organization that's really about improving the health outcomes for women so that they can own their health in like a safe and affirming space. One of the things they do really well is that they enable the cheerleaders of their work. So that's the people that are part of Rerun Brownsville, their friends, their family, and they really prep them to help spread the word about their campaigns. Another thing I'll point out is that they really thank people well and send notes of gratitude when they receive donations. And they also are really good at keeping their goals reasonable to what their team can handle at that particular amount of time. And by doing that, each time they raise what they need or more than what they need. And they just have a strategy of doing more than one project. And that's something that we've seen as a best practice. Another group, Grow Brownsville. This is a couple years old project. It's local, minority and women-owned startup through the Universe City NYC program. And they are building the first aquaponic farm in Brownsville, East New York. They did a project last year where they raised about $10,500. And actually, as we speak, they are crowdfunding again. And so they're kind of taking the tactic of doing multiple campaigns. If you go to their campaign page, you can see a video about the project. In fact, I think I have a link here to get to that video, ioby.org/healthy toolkit, and you can learn more about this particular project. And then finally, just as Anita was mentioning, you know, very, very relevant to the times, what's now called the East Brooklyn Mutual Aid Network. I think their title used to be /Ocean Hill Brownsville, but you see it there. They have, since the pandemic started, really been raising money to get groceries to families in the neighborhood. So at this point, they are at about $35,000 raised. So that is one more project of great work happening from Brownsville. I feel that my time is short, so I'm just going to now preview for you the types of things that your fundraising coach would talk to you about if you decided to crowdfund with us. Again, this is sort of like the highlight of our model. What sets us apart is these fundraising coaches that you can call, you can email, they can meet with your board of directors. Like literally, it's their job to be available to help you strategize for a successful campaign. So one thing they'll talk about is building your team. And that's really about just making sure you know that you shouldn't carry this burden alone. And how can you engage people that you have strong relationships with to help you do a successful campaign. And you can see here, campaigns that fundraise with a team, it goes about 6 times faster. That's what we've seen on our platform. They would also talk to you about setting a budget. It's a matter of like the actual dollars you need and how many people you have on your team that can help you make asks. It's about crafting a compelling story. You know, what we have found is the more personalized an ask you can make, the better. One of the myths out there is that you just, put up a crowdfunding page online and all of a sudden, like, money just starts pouring in. And what we have seen time and time again is that social media is great for sharing links, having a conversation, but it's the personal touches that can pull on heartstrings and get people to actually give the money. And so we help you on telling a compelling story. The next one is planning your asks, right? So actually taking the time to plan strategically. And so this is a matter of who you're going to ask, how you're going to ask them, and how much you can actually expect them to give you. We use what's called a prospect chart, and it looks like this. You can see that we ask you to break it down by who you can ask in person. That's really hard during COVID times. So who can you call on the phone? Who can you send a personalized email to? Who can you hit up on social media? And really putting in by person and by method even, how much you will ask for and how many people you can ask, and then seeing how that totals up. So yeah, this is about really getting a reasonable budget for what works for you and your team. We talked to you about soft launch, and this is just the concept that raising dollars in sort of a silent phase, a quiet campaign. You can see there it's listed as the first 2 weeks. Getting some money in the bank before making it public is a strategy. So this is just an example of the type of strategy your fundraising coach would talk to you about. This one, the 4 pushes, these are 4 different moments in your campaign that you should have particular types of communication. So they could help you with planning that out. And finally, I want to talk about match programs. So the slides that I just went through again are just a preview of some of the strategies, not all. We have tons of resources, tons of strategies and tips to talk through, but they would sort of roll up their sleeves and talk details with you to help you. And I will also say that once you start fundraising, they're still available. That's actually when a lot of the help kicks in, because in real time, they can react to what's happening with your campaign. So just to close out my talking so that we can get questions from you, I want to talk about our match programs. So on IOBY's platform, you can have a match connected to your campaign so that when someone donates, for example, $10, they see it doubled and show up as $20. And that happens when you have a match program set up. You can find that from a donor in your community. You might have a friend or family member that's like, hey, listen, I believe in this. I would love to get $500 as match. Or sometimes we secure match dollars, big pots of money, $50,000 from foundations or other funders, and then we make that available to the community. So let me just tell you about 3 of those available to Brownsville residents right now. So the NYC COVID-19 Just Recovery Match Fund, I'm reading left to right. This one is for low-income Black communities within the 5 boroughs. I forgot to update this particular one. I believe it is up to $8,000, just like the other ones on here. Just go to iob.org/justrecoverynyc to find all of the details. We have another COVID match. This one, the only difference between this one is that it's not particular to Black communities. It's for low-income communities responding and recovering from the pandemic. That one's at iob.org/nyc together. And then finally, the Healthy Neighborhoods Challenge, up to $8,000 for projects that improve public health outcomes. That one's at iob.org/healthy. On all of these web pages, you will find the eligibility details that you need to satisfy. But if you do, when you launch your crowdfunding page, you will be able to access the dollars that I'm showing you here. So to conclude, if you have an idea that you are thinking about, maybe it needs a little bit of development, but you are ready to share that idea and talk talk it through with a fundraising coach. Your next step is to go to iob.org/idea, spend no more than 3 minutes or so giving us your name and contact information and a little bit about your idea, and then we'll get in touch with you. If you have other questions, maybe you just need to understand a little bit more than I was able to share today to understand how this would all work, I recommend emailing success@iob.org. That's how you reach our fundraising coaches. You can also call them at the number you see here. And then if you're like, you know what, though, I still just really want to talk to Jennifer, you can email me at jennifer@iob.org. I'm going to end there. And I will say I am filling in for one of our fundraising coaches, and she is born and bred Brooklyn. So she would love to hear from you all. Her name is Farrah LaFontant. Yes. So we look forward to hearing more from you guys. We look forward to Brownsville continuing to access these dollars and these resources. When you crowdfund with us, you're gaining skills that will just be useful throughout the work that you're doing. Thank you so much.
So thank you, Jennifer. I have one question, probably more, but I'll start with the one. So does IOBY help with, once the crowdfund, the campaign is completed, the other resources that one may tap into, such as, is there any reporting requirement? Is there any record keeping that's necessary to order, to say, well, what were these funds utilized for? Is that a part of the process as well?
That's a great question. The short answer is no. So we don't require any grant reporting. The more complicated answer is if we end up being your fiscal sponsor, we do require that you show us receipts for how you spent those dollars. But there's no grant report, and that's purposeful. We're really trying to get into this space that makes it easy for residents that know what's needed to have less hoops to jump through.
And that makes sense, because oftentimes some of the barriers that exist is about the structure, even though there is a process and there is documents that are required, particularly when you're starting a nonprofit in a for-profit business, there are document requirements. But sometimes when you're looking to access specific grants, there are other challenges or other requirements that may not be understandable. So so it seems really easy, to go through this process. And I saw my picture in one of the photos. Shout out to We Run Brownsville.
Nice.
That was a really great time and great space, great organization to work with. Just curious about, what else, and is there a stigma? Because I also want to talk about that, because oftentimes when people think of, going out and asking for money, that there is a stigma. What has been your experience or the organization's experience with the ask and also crowdfunding?
Yeah, that's a really important topic because it comes up all of the time. We definitely have, we call the folks that crowdfund with us IOB leaders. So we meet folks all of the time that are like, I've never fundraised before, or this is really scary to me and I don't like asking for money. And so it's actually part of the coaching that we do. We talk a lot about the story and how, as you craft a story, which is basically, this is how I'm trying to change the world, and you can be a part of this. And would you like to be a part of this? That's part of the framing that we teach folks so that it becomes less scary and it's more about inviting people to be part of something that they want to have a hand in changing in this world. And sometimes people say no, and sometimes people find other ways to give. One of my favorite stories, this was a project in the Bronx where a woman was part of a team, but she didn't have cash to donate. But she said, you know what, I can really bake cakes well. So everyone on the team donated the ingredients. Then she made the cake, and then she was able to sell slices of the cake. So that was her contribution. It ultimately turned into dollars to make the project she wanted to see happen. And so there's ways to get creative. And again, we will just hold your hand through the process and find a way to get you more comfortable and like more ready to step out of your comfort zone.
And final question, what have you seen? Well, that's not really a fair question because that means that I'm asking you to determine what's happening all around the country, and that's not really an accurate question. Just
Okay.
more so, really understanding the impact of donations on your market in particular. Because being that we're in a global pandemic, have you seen more
Mm,
of an
mm,
increase in terms
absolutely.
of donations, or has it remained steady? Because I know every sector that I've come across have been impacted. I just wanted to get a reasonably
Mhm.
fair insight, for the audience as well.
Yes. IOBY has been the busiest we've ever been during this pandemic. And just like the Ocean Hill Brownsville Mutual Aid Project that I showed you, there are so many mutual aid projects happening across the city. People are digging in to help their neighbors. And so it does make sense that us, a nonprofit that was formed with like a bedrock value of neighbors helping neighbors, is so critical to creating a better world. And the people, our neighbors, know what we need, and seeing these mutual aid groups be like, hey, there's people that can't get out, can't get groceries, we need to get them food. It's really emblematic about what we're all about. And so we have seen these mutual aid groups raise hundreds of thousands of dollars just in New York City. And then we see the same across the country. We see other mutual aid groups and tons of people crowdfunding during this pandemic to help out their neighbors. And so, yeah, it's an interesting moment to to be like, wow, we're having like the highest number of folks crowdfunding with us, and it's because something bad has happened. But the silver lining is that yes, that human spirit that can put others above themselves is really strong, and we get to see that, and it's really inspiring in terms of what people have accomplished in this extremely once in 100-year time.
I know. You can say that again. I hope we never
Oh
see
my gosh. Oh my gosh.
anything
Yeah.
like.
This generation and the next need
Yeah,
to be done.
I know. So on that note, in wrapping up, are there any final thoughts, words of encouragement for the community that you want to just shout out before we bring on our next guest?
Absolutely. I think it's just, if you've never fundraised before, please don't be afraid. Again, these fundraising coaches that we have, it's literally their full-time job to have these kind of conversations and to help you and to walk alongside you. That is our joy. That is what is the best part of our job. That's what's most inspiring. So again, it's okay to feel like you're at square one. That's where we want to meet you. And the first step is just going to iob.org/idea, and someone will get on the phone with you.
Well, thank you so much. Now, to all the viewers, I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you, Jennifer, taking time out of your busy schedule. If you do celebrate Thanksgiving, please enjoy your time and the rest of this 2020. I want to say holiday season, but 2020.
Yes. Yes, you do the same. This has been a joy. And I wish you and all the viewers just happiness in this holiday season coming up.
All right, take good care. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. So I want to say thank you. Thank you again, Jennifer. Thank you, IOB, for coming on and supporting a number of the Ocean Hill, Brownsville residents and helping to make their dreams and visions come true. It is really just nice and an honor to see. Trying to fix this hair, but whatever. Whatever. Um, it's just one of those great things to see that we know that we have supporters who are willing to help us out in a time of need. Given that we are all in this time and space together, it just makes sense for if you have an idea, a vision, and dream, and you want to consider participating and giving to residents or helping out your community, definitely consider working with IOBY. That would make their season even more busy, but at least they'll have an opportunity to be able to help to contribute to the individuals within the community. So I have the distinct honor in my job as a host of really bringing to the table a variety of different organizations that are really doing the work within Ocean Hill, Brownsville. It is always nice and an amazing opportunity when you check Instagram, you check Facebook, and you see these communities, and they are really just doing the work. And sometimes they may not get all the recognition, and I've seen it with my own eyes. Some of them wear maybe way too many hats, but their heart is in the space where they're looking to help to grow and to continue to unify our community. So on that note, I want to actually bring to the table our next guest, Mr. Javonn Johnson, who is the Executive Director of Empowering Youth Towards Excellence. Hi, Javonn.
Good afternoon. How you doing, Ms. P? How's everything?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I was trying to fix my hair too, but but yours is doing a good job. You're doing a good job. Don't worry about it.
So, it is so good to have you on the Brownsville Minute. I am just like bubbling over with like excitement because I know the work and we've had some conversations and just wanted to just see who you are. Introduce yourself to the team.
Okay, my name is Javonn Johnson, the founder CEO of Empowering Youth Towards Excellence. First, I'd like to dedicate this conversation on this show to Mrs. Kitty, who's been a number one help from day one, who passed on the covert. Isaiah Sanders, one of my young people who passed away, aka Black Jesus. And then we'd like to thank Mr. Sandra McLean, who's a mentor. When I was a young father going into PS 41, she's one of those outstanding teachers who took me by my hand and helped me to reach my full potential in dealing with parent involvement, life issues. Took me all over the country doing facilitating workshops around parent issues, Black male issues, fatherhood issues. Started a parent group, so Ms. McLean. And then also I'd like to thank, dedicate the show to Mr. Dennis Taylor, who is a friend and also a mentor. Our concept is community center without walls. Wherever young people are, that's my community center. And Mr. Taylor was able to open up his offices to me so that we have a place to be able to have the space to have meetings. And part of our mission is to help young people fulfill their full potentials, may it be going to college, learning a trade, getting a job, whatever it may be. Mr. Teller was allowed us to be able to come indoors and bring in different university colleges right into Brownsville. We was able to bring some Ivy Leagues, historical Black colleges, right here in the Brownsville. We want to always remember the backbone of this organization. And those were some of the people that made Empower Youth what it is today.
Wow, that was
Hello. Did I lose
you? Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. I actually am very familiar with Mr. Taylor. And I actually saw your post because I remember seeing him serve in Christian Cultural Center. So that time I was actually connected, and I remembered him. So it was very touching for you to recognize, your support system that helped you to be able to get where you are currently. So switching just a little bit, how did you get started, and why did you get started with the organization?
Okay, so the brainchild of empowering youth towards excellence came out of about 20 years ago. A great thing happened to me at the time. I didn't know it happened to. It was great. I was fired from a local organization, Salvation Army of Brownsville. I was the director there, and they fired me. And at the time, I didn't know it was. I thought it was tragedy. But one thing that me and my partner Cyrus Smith did, we decided to everything that we was doing in the Salvation Army, we just went across the street into the park, and that's where the concept of community center without walls came from. So we just took everything we was doing there into the park. Only thing that we wasn't able to take was the budget, and we found that out 2 years later when everybody else was happy on every Friday, every 2 weeks, except me and him. After a while, we saying nobody else. We the only two not get paid, but we was doing work. We was having impact. So we just took it to the park, and so that's how we got started. Continue to do the work that we was doing in the Salvation Army. We was able to do it in the park. That's how Empowering Youth Towards Excellence came about. And then again, this is not me. I'm not. There's a lot of people that make this happen. So I'm driving my cousin home to Queens, and I'm telling her I'm trying to form this organization. And she said to me, "Well, you empowered all of us, so the name should be Empowering Youth Towards Excellence." And that's how the name came about, because we was just doing the work. I heard you say earlier, just doing the work, and we always just was trying to do the work. You tell us what your dream or your desire. Our job is to make it happen or help you get along, go to fulfill whatever your dream and desire is. So that's how
So
I got
I'm
started.
I'm just going to ask one thing. I hear a bit of static on your end. So I wanted to see if maybe we can adjust it, because what you have to say is really important. So I want to make sure that we hear um, anything that you're saying. I don't know if you have like a Bluetooth connected or something like that, but we want to make sure that we hear everything that you are saying.
Okay. So
Okay.
is that better?
No, I
It's
still
when you
hear.
speak that is choppy. When you speak. Okay.
Oh, so
That.
that's me. Do you
Yes.
have like another device that's turned up?
No, I'm in a nothing's turned up here. I'm
Oh,
actually
okay.
in the room by myself.
Uh-oh, so maybe it is me. All right, well, we'll see. We'll do our best to see how the sound works. Um, so maybe perhaps turn down your speaker a bit, your sound a bit.
Nope, you was there. Is that
Nope,
better?
that's perfect. I hear you better now.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, so you got started, and you decided that this was something that you wanted to do. Um, And now that you have this organization, what are some of the programs that you offer within the community that one can tap into or actually contribute to if need be?
Right. So currently, one of the programs that we're offering is our summer program. It's our summer program. Um, excuse me. It's our summer program where we adopted the summer. It's an 8-week program in the summer where we turned the park into a summer camp, and then we're able to do one-on-one basketball training. We're able to do college, bringing college coaches to do interviews, and also our literacy program, where we're actually doing book reading, autograph in the park, where the park is turned into a day camp for free. So whoever shows up in the park, we have a day camp in the park for 8 weeks. Hello?
And
Hello?
so what else?
I lost you.
And so what
Yeah,
else?
you. It's
Um,
on your end.
and so what else in terms of the
Yeah.
program? What else? The other programs? What else are you offering?
And so the other program we have is we have a college awareness program where we take students as young as, so it's twofold. So as young as 5th grade all the way up to 8th grade, that's when we start introducing them to colleges and learn about different colleges. And then from high school, from 9th grade to 12th, that's when we actually start doing college tours. We bring in different colleges to come and speak to them. We started working with some of youth employment and try to find money to do all of that stuff.
And so what are the ways that you are looking to raise awareness and funds for your organization?
So one of the things that we're doing right now in order to raise money for the care package campaign, we are on GoFundMe. So we have a $5 campaign, we have a $10 campaign, we have a $25 campaign. Each box costs about $30 to fill, and then it's about $25 to ship off. So we're asking people if you want to be a shipper or you want to fill it, it's $25. And if you don't have that, you could just donate $5 in the spirit of giving back to your community. We have students from all over Brooklyn, but Central, most of the students come right out of Brownsville. And we have students all the way up to go to University of Maine, all the way to Florida, historical Black colleges, all the way to California. And then when they come home from school, we are also working with them trying to find them internships in the summer as they're coming home. And then post, we also looking for them, helping them find jobs after they leave college as well.
So you actually maintain and make sure that we don't get the freshman 15 pounds on us. I know you heard about the freshman 15, but you make sure that we have, as first year college students, good connection, good love, and some food
Right.
within that first year, correct?
Right, so it's important. So the care package, it's important that we send the care package because we want them to know that the community care about them and that we love them. And so so that's what the care package are for. Because a lot of times, first 6 months, students, majority that are away at school, get lonely, and then the stuff that their parents has brought them by October 1st is gone. So that's when the care package is strategically sent out like a week after, so that we know exactly when their parents' stuff should be they have eaten it up, and then we send a care package and say, hey, your community care about you, your community love you, and sometimes, depends on the budget, we also deliver care packages to students on campus because we hear from the parents saying, my student might be struggling, so we go do a visit. So we have traveled all along the East Coast, popping in on people and saying, hey, how's school going along? How you working out with the professor? Do we need to talk to any professor on your behalf? Are you taking advantage of the student life center that you're paying for? Because a lot of times we pay a lot of money to the university college and we're not taking care of the services that are there. So we also make sure that they are involved with student life. So it's important that you also, like the COVID, unfortunately last year, we had to go pick up students from college who wasn't able to make it home. So, I mean, the service varies. So it's really what you need, we try to deliver at Power and Youth, honestly.
And so how do you get connected? How does your organization get connected? Because we just had Jennifer Allen from IOBY who they're looking for more community projects. Are you going to connect with IOBY to help with additional resources?
I'm gonna revisit that. I'm gonna revisit that because we did try to connect with them and I didn't have a great experience with them. So now I have a name. And I love that it's more personal, so I'm going to reconnect with them. Because then I think that's why it's important what you're doing, that you're bringing people together. So now she said I could use her email. My social media team and my team is on that right now. So we're definitely going to make sure we send out an email and we're going to revisit that because honestly, we need all the help that we can get. But more importantly, there's tons of money being raised during right now during the COVID. And a lot of that money is not coming back into the community. And it's tons of people in Brownsville, tons of people. Brownsville is the new hot bed now. And everybody in their mother seem to have an organization, but we're not going to, you didn't bring me on for that, but okay. But the point is that we're gonna reach out to them and try to see what they can do this time around.
So you said I didn't bring you on for that, and I think that it's important that you express what your experience has been and also elevate some of your concerns about what's happening in the area that you directly serve. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. This is not that platform.
Yeah, well, okay, well, like I said, there's tons of people in Brownsville now, tons of groups, tons of money here, and all I'm saying is that there's been people, as you said earlier, that's been on the ground for a long time, doing this work for a long time, and they tend to be overlooked all the time. So, and we've been raising that, and we've been, saying the same thing. But one thing I learned all these years, just do the work, and your rewards are going to come. So every May, I have about 20 young people that I know that's graduating out of college, and that's my reward. And they're going on to do some great things. So I'm just doing the work, and let the chips fall where they may. But I will reach out to them, and we are asking people to donate. We are asking people to go to our GoFundMe and donate because it's an ongoing process. It's going to be in the spring when we do our next care package drive. But, when you think about Black Monday, Black Tuesday, or Black Friday, all these things they come up with, think about the small organization back in Brownsville who's making an impact on people's lives, for real.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. So, in wrapping up, is there any additional items that you want to recognize or you want to say? Because I am going to show your flyer again during the community announcement. So, if there's anything else that you want to say, here's your time.
I'm working right now with about 4 to 5 amazing young people, and we're going to launch, hopefully for the summer of 2001, we're going to launch our Brownsville Film Festival, about stories about people in Brownsville, stories from people who made films about Brownsville, filmmakers. So we're just going to be ready to launch this whole film festival here in Brownsville. Who's better to tell your story than yourself, right? And we have all type of stories. And the stories that's coming out of Brownsville are always the gang, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, bang. But we have some amazing young people who go to that same Rockaway train station under the same situation, who made up in their mind that they want to be great. Today, when I did one of my exercises today, was tapping my shoulders. So today is tap into your greatness day. So we're telling young people, don't be fooled. Don't let these roadblocks and all of this other stuff fool you. Tap into your greatness. And we know young people that's doing it. But again, they're not being highlighted. Nobody ever talks to them. It's not always the ones, and they only want to talk to the people that seem to not have their mind straight. But we know some intelligent, smart, articulate, great young people. And that's why the spirit of the Brownsville Film Festival is coming out. We want to hear all stories. We need all stories. We just don't need to glorify the murder, the guns, and all that. But how about the teacher that's been working in Brownsville for 20 years? And how about the principal? How about the crossing guard? How about the person that's been opened up a little shop trying to give back? So we're going to talk about, those are the stories we want to hear and what make Brownsville good. What make Brownsville great. So that's what Empowering Youth is about. We're trying to empower our young people to see half empty and half full is up to you. Then we start talking about our 5-year plan. How can we help you with your 5-year plan and your 2-year plan, 6 months, 1 year, because it's all about planning. That's it.
That's it?
Yep. And we say, stay focused and drink water. That's another one of my saying. Stay focused on your task and drink water. And I want to thank you for this opportunity. Really do. Appreciate it so much.
No, this is what this platform is for. I want you to come back again, to just give us some progress updates and to also see, next time bring your young folks on. The platform is open and available to all. And I'm thankful that you accepted the invitation, and it is definitely open and endless. And so please take advantage of any opportunities that, this platform can help to support your organizations. And if there's another organization that you want to come on, please feel free. It's just an email or a telephone call away. So I want to thank you again for taking time out of your schedule to come and chat with me for a moment about your organization, and to see how we can definitely support. There is a link that will be directly to the college package drive, which is scrolling across the platform. After Javonn and I finish talking, I'm going to provide the announcements where you will see the flyer for what he was talking about for the music festival that is coming up for 2021. So please consider, if you have any year-end campaign or funding or organizations that you want to consider supporting, please consider this organization as one of your organizations that you will tap in and contribute, because every dollar matters, and every dollar, it doesn't matter how little or how small it is, it can help to support the organization in the long run. So Javonn, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. I want to also thank all the people who do support the organization, because without them, Empowering Youth would not be what it is today. Too many people to name, but I just want to say thank you to all of them. Thank you again.
All right, take good care. Talk to you soon. So there you have it. So we have another local organization, particularly within Ocean Hill, Brownsville, that can use your support. They are actually currently using GoFundMe, and will probably next use the resources that was just mentioned with Ms. Jennifer Allen through IOBY. And so, given that we are coming up on our hour, I want to thank you all for, again, taking time out of your schedule to be able to spend time with us, share, just share and exchange information. Because I think that one of the things that, as we have been in this digital space for some time, it's just important that we try to share information that can be useful and that you can use to help you, someone else within your community. I wanted to just put up some friendly reminders about what is also happening within the community that you may have missed, but I'm going to put up some reminders as well. Please check out www.brownsvillebk.org. That is a website that was developed in response to COVID. It was developed under the executive director, LaShawn Allen Muhammad, at Central Brooklyn Economic Development Corporation, in partnership with Mobility Labs. And it's a platform where if you are looking to promote your business, if there's any community events, we wanted to create a central place where, just like when we go to Instagram and Facebook and we want to look and search up things, this will be specific to Ocean Hill, Brownsville. It still needs to be populated with the information from our community residents, because we don't know everything. However, it is, again, an opportunity and a space for you to connect. So please check out www.brownsvillebk.org. And on that note, I'm going to close out with some community announcements. But I want to, again, thank you all for joining. It has been a pleasure and an honor to be able to share this time and space with you. And again, if you do celebrate Thanksgiving, please, we can't tell you what to do in your house. But, in light of all of what's happening with the numbers going up in COVID, please practice safe physical distance. Keep your family and your loved ones safe. COVID is not a game. It is not a game. And we want to make sure that, coming into the new year, that we're all around safe and practicing physical distance in love and in unity. And on that note, please stay tuned for the community announcements. Please join us next month. We are planning to do a number of specials in between. Well, actually, next month seemed like around the corner, but between now and the end of the month, just to provide some additional updates and to keep our residents informed during the holidays, because we all still have these needs. We want to make sure that the information is current. Please also check out and also like my business page at 11375, and also to stay tuned with the work that Community Board 16 is doing. Please like their page on Facebook so that you can stay current for the things that you miss here. And on that note, I'm going to send you some virtual hugs and kisses because I can't see all of y'all in person, but I can send out some love, lots of love, and some virtual kisses. And also, while I have you, please stay tuned because tomorrow I'm going to be hosting a continuing conversation for the journey of an entrepreneur. I started that series on my birthday, November the 3rd, and we'll continue this from now until December, until we go into the new year for new guests. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. You can check that out live at 11375 and also at Community Board 16. So hold tight for the announcement. Sending you lots of love and thank you for joining. But don't leave yet. Watch the announcements. Watch the announcements. Watch the announcements. Love you.